the judges, the participants, and teachers from both schools, plus the audience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good afternoon to you all, and welcome to this debate. Today, we are having the second round. Last week we had the first round. Today we are having the second round. And this is our second session and the third edition of our debate. The format under which we are following on this debate is the World Schools Debate. Today in the building, I have schools or teams from Nakaloke Islamic, who are the negators, and University Link, who are the affirmers. These two teams will be following the theme, or the motion, investment in the youth, sports and arts program should be significantly increased as a tool for social cohesion. My name is Nekesa Zabura Vanessa, and I am the moderator of this debate. I would like to also remind you about the theme that we are following in this debate, which is empowering the next generation, navigating Uganda's digital, economic, and social frontiers. In the building, we have three judges, whom include Mr. Luemba Musa, Mr. Mwanja Somad, and the third one, Wadada Akram. Dear listeners, the teams that we are having, the negators from Nakaloke Islamic include Bukoma Okasha Salim, a senior 3 student, Katsime Sumaya, a senior 3 student. Aside, we have Ibrahim Maji, a senior 5 student, Baluka Precious Glory, a senior 3 student, and Nawak bint Muhammad, a senior 4 student from Islamic, from University Link. Dear participants and listeners of 93.1 IUIU FM, I would like to first of all call upon our judge to brief us on the way they are going to assess before I continue. You're welcome, Mr. Ru.
Thank you. Those who are listening in, we are humbled that you've been with us this far. For our schools that have managed to make it here as the teachers, we are also equally humbled. I don't think I have much to communicate since the score sheet is already before us. Maybe all I can remind is each one of us is going to be assessed out of the third judge is yet to join us. And on the table we have 3 judges, and it means that the entire team is going to be assessed out of 900. We wish you the best, and hoping and waiting to hear from you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, our judge. I would like to inform you that in the morning we had 2 teams. That was Mbale Islamic High School, who were the affirmers, and the negators from St. Mary's, Busamaga. From this debate, we got the best who were from St. Mary's, Bugema. We came up with a percentage, or with a number of 713, claiming to be the best over Bilal, who had gotten 706 points. In this debate, we have our dearest sponsors, and I would like to acknowledge them. These include Akajobunaku Online, Hilltop View, IU Nursing School, ISU Government, Honorable Karim Masaba, Health Spring Care Center, Abra Supermarket, and Kambugu Rajab Enterprise. I don't want to waste a lot of time. And in fact, timing has changed due to University Link arrived late, and today we are not going to use 8 minutes, we are going to use 5 minutes. So please ensure that everything that you want to tell us is done within 5 minutes. I don't know, the team that arrived late has caused a problem. And we don't have cross-examination, we have point of information. And we only have, or we shall only allow 2 point of information. Okay? Hope that's taken. I don't want to waste a lot of time. I would like to call our very first affirmer, who is none other than Mati Ibrahim.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable judges, esteemed proposition and opposition, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Mati Ibrahim from the proposition here to affirm today's motion stating investments in the youth sports and arts programs should be significantly increased as a tool for social cohesion. The other 2 members on the proposition are Baluka Precious and Nawal Bint Muhammad. As the first speaker, I will find the motion and present our first 2 cases that will state fostering diversity and inclusivity, mitigating social isolation and loneliness. The second speaker will continue by defending our position and introducing our third and fourth points. That is to say, decreasing youth delinquency and crime rates enhances self-esteem, confidence, and emotional intelligence. The third speaker will then close by analyzing the key issues, disseminating the opposition, and showing weaknesses of the opposition, and clearly showing why this motion must stand. As the first speaker, I will read the following. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, once said, sports has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire and unite the people. That's what we are over tonight. A motion that recognizes the potential of the youth in this country. According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics report 2024, it shows that 78% of the people in Uganda are below 35 years of age, but the majority are idle, frustrated, and divided among themselves due to economic reasons. So we think that by significantly increasing investments in the youth sports and arts, we are going to promote teamwork, identity, and unity. Allow me to find some of the key terms in today's motion. Investment. This is the allocation of resources to something. Youth sports and arts program refer to activities in music, athletics, drama, among others, for people between age 13 to 30. Social cohesion is the ability of communities to live peacefully, inclusively, and cooperatively, regardless of background, tribe, gender, and economic status. Here we go. The debate focuses on Uganda, specifically youth age 13 to 30.
Some changes. You can remain on 8 minutes. Come down.
Thank you. What is the motion really about? The simplified version of this motion is the Uganda government should put much more money into sports and arts for the youth, because we have learned that these activities help young people to live peacefully and reduce division in society. The current statistics show that Uganda has enormous youth potential in sports, according to the report released by UNICEF. And however, funding of the youth talent is minimal. Many rely on private sponsors, NGOs, and private sponsors from other countries. We have seen that there is the rising unemployment, urban crime, tribal tension, all signs of low social cohesion. We propose that the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, Games and Sports, to double funding the youth community centers and school sports and arts program, rehabilitate sports fields like our Mbale Sports Stadium and other creative centers, train instructors in arts, music, drama, and physical education, introduce regional and national sports festivals, promote inclusive participation across gender, tribe, and religion as our action plan. The Uganda government, through Ministry of Labour, Gender and Social Development and Ministry of Education, Games and Sports, development partners, e.g. M10 Foundation, UNICEF, UNESCO, cooperative sponsorship, and sports federation like FUFA as our sponsors. We also propose that we use community-based model, build programs around schools, clubs, local governments, promote interdistrict cooperation, foster teamwork and mutual respect, evaluate impact via reduction in youth violence, drug abuse, ethnic tension as our methodology. These are the points from the proposition. Fostering diversity and inclusivity. When the youth from different backgrounds, different religions, different regions, and different economic classes come together in games as a team, we see that they are going to mix up. They are going to unite themselves. For example, on this debate team of ours, I'm a issue. she's a Sogi, she's from Bunyoni land. But we have come together as one person with one goal. So we have removed these issues of discrimination. We are now one person. We have removed these issues of stereotypes whereby they say they choose like themselves alone, the Sogis like that, like that. So by this activity, because debate we have seen is among the arts, the sports, that the government should put much more emphasis on, we have created what we call unity. The next point is mitigating social isolation and loneliness. Many people, most especially the orphans, the refugees, and people who are physically handicapped, feel lonely, and in most cases they are excluded from other activities in the community. If the government significantly increases the funding in these sports and arts of the youth, we are going to see that really these people are no longer in isolation. We are going to come together in a place where everybody is appreciated for their talent. The government should really increase the funding so that we can remove the thing of isolation and loneliness. As I conclude, today we have shown you that really investing in sports and arts for the youth is really significant. We believe that by doing this, we are going to create a Uganda whereby everybody is appreciated for whatever they have, not because of their background, not because of their social classes. If we really want a peace, we want peace. If we want a nation whereby tribal lines fail and teamwork takes over, then the government, the concerned stakeholders should really take this in a Uganda whereby everybody is proud. And with that, we are proudly to affirm today's motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Mati Ibrahim from University, coming as the first affirmer. I would like to call upon our second participant from the side of Ligeta, the first one, who is Bukoma Ukasha Sandi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam MC, the judges, the two antagonistic bodies, and the room at large. All of you, allow me to greet you with the best salutation that Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Bukuma Wacha Salim, a senior 3 student from Nakaloke Islamic Secondary School, and I am here and I am opposing the motion which says investment in the youth sports and arts programs should be significantly increased as a tool for social cohesion. Now, for us as Nakaloke Islamic, we don't support that motion because of different factors which we are going to tell to you. But before I explain the factors, allow me to explain the key terms in the motion. The first one is investment. It means to put money in a bank or in any project with the aim of getting money from it. Another key term is significantly. It means something which is important. Another key term is empowerment. This means giving power or authority to someone. Then another one is social cohesion, which means uniting or togetherness. All in all, the motion means that the government of Uganda should increase investment in youth sports and arts programs as a tool for social cohesion. But for us, we see that that is not correct. The correct thing is that the investment in the youth sports and arts programs should not be increased. It should not be increased because of our different factors. Allow me to analyze my views to you. My first view is resource allocation. Resource allocation, this will lead to poor delivery of services. This is why if the government increases investment, in the youth sports, you're going to see that other sectors are not going to be funded. Like the sector of education, it is not going to be funded. The sector of medical, it is not going to be funded. And here include the teachers, whereby even in this very year, the arts teachers were complaining to the government that they are not being given enough money. They are being given little salary, and they are complaining to the government. They made a strike when they want to be added some money. Why? Because most of the money is going to be invested in sports. So when they invest in sports, other sectors are not going to be funded. So this will lead to poor delivery of services, and the youths will not be empowered. For more clarification, I even have the evidence whereby the teachers of arts were put a strike against the government. Why? Because they want an increment in salary. Allow me to present my evidence to the judges for more clarification. On the very note, remember, again in resource allocation, other sectors like agriculture are not funded. You know, these sports here, they are long-term venture. They don't bring profits. They don't bring profits. They bring profits after a longer time. But other sectors like agriculture, if you invest in agriculture, it can bring profits after a very short period of time. And just recently, last week, in the newspapers of New Vision, which were released on Monday, June 23rd, 2025, we saw that President Museveni and Honorable Banja were in a certain place in Uganda, and they were talking about agriculture. They should invest in agriculture so that they can get what? So that they can get more profits from it. Allow me to present my evidence to the judges for more clarification. Another point is longer-term venture. These sports and arts are longer-term venture activities. When you invest more money in sports and the arts, like music, arts include music, crafts, and the sports include football, netball. When you invest your money in them, they are a long-term venture. They are going to bring money after a very long period of time. So we see that if they invest money in other sectors, they are going to bring money after a very short period of time. And in arts, in music, we have three processes. There is a process of arising, then there is that step of shining, then there is that step of fading. So we see that among the arising musicians, we have that vibes, it's just arising. And among the shining ones, we have Nando Love and Other Peace. And among the fading ones, we have Alien Skid. They are now fading away. So it is not empowering them. They reach a time and they fade away. In music industry, we have only 3 musicians who have finished in the music industry for 30 years. We have the Palas, we have Bebe Cool, we have Bobby Wine, and we have a Chameleon. They are the only musicians who have finished in music for all over 30 years. But the remaining ones, after a very short period of time, after a period of shining, they fade away. So that one is not empowering you, and it is not bringing social cohesion. My other point is cultural misalignment. You know, these sports here, they don't align with other cultures, like the culture of Islam. We Muslims in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't accept us to dress the way these artists dress, and to dress the way these sportsmen dress. So when you look at that point, you're going to see that other youths are going to be excluded from the activities. If you invest more money, the Muslim community is going to be excluded. They are not going to participate in the sports. Whereby our girls, they are not allowed to wear short clothes, so they are not going to participate in sports. And I have the evidence from the Holy Book of Muslims, whereby Allah denies us from wearing those short clothes, and also Allah denies us to be excluded. They are going to be lonely. In addition to that, I also have a point of improper dressing of artists. These artists here, there is a way they dress. So their dressing code, it cannot attract a parent to go and push his or her daughter that, please, you're going to become an artist, you're going to become a sportsman or a sportswoman. The parent cannot push his or her daughter and his or her son to go and involve in them. So that will lead to exclusivity of other youths. In addition to that, we have limited benefits. In sports, we have what we call age limits. Me, myself, there is a time where I was going to involve in those sports. I was going to involve in those sports, and they told me that I am below 18 years, so I don't qualify. So what is that? They are excluding me, and I am a youth. I am not involving in the sports. There is also injuries. If a youth gets an injury in a sports activity, there and then he ends there, he will never play again. And there is banning of a player. They can ban you that now you're not going to play football for 10 years. So what are you going to do? You're not empowered. You're not going to be empowered. You're just going to be lonely. And then there is, allow me to rest my case, informing you that please, you can cross this side. You can support us, and you say that the government should not increase the what? Should not increase investment for the youth sports. and the arts programs as a tool for social cohesion. Allow me to rest my case.
Thank you so much, Honorable Bukoma Okasha Salim from Nakaloke Islamic. I would like to call upon our second affirmer, who is none other than Baruka Precious Glory. You're welcome.
Honorable Speaker, the judges, the opposition, and the House at large, good afternoon. I am the second speaker on the affirmative, and my name is Baruka Precious Glory. I'm going to do three things as in my speech. One of them is to rebuild and defend my team's case. And the second one is respond on the major arguments from the opposition and also introduce two more arguments. That is to say, enhancing self-esteem, confidence, and also emotional intelligence. Then, youth delinquency and also preference. My first speaker explained how sports and arts foster inclusivity and diversity and reduce social isolation, especially on the youth who are marginalized. These ones, they are not just for luxuries, but I must tell you clearly today that these are powerful platforms for national unity. These youth programs, when youth participate in national music competitions, football tournaments, and also cultural festivals, they are not just for entertainment. They are building bridges across tribes, different tribes. They are building cultures, they are building regions, and also they help us to come together as regions and classes. It is not because we cannot afford this. Social division and youth crime are far more expensive. Misuse of these programs happens due to lack of funding and lack of infrastructure. Our motion for today was already clearly stating, demanding that we need more investment in these programs. So, with this information, I would like to start explaining my first point, which is enhancing self-esteem, confidence, and also emotional intelligence. When youth participate in arts program, they develop confidence in their abilities. They learn how to express their emotions before others. They gain empowerment in themselves to be before the public. They are able to express themselves freely without fear. So these programs are really helpful to us. Then also what I would like to say. If we participate, for example, debating, we are told that debating is an art. And if we participate in debating, this debating helps us to build self-worth and teaches us to interact with others positively outside there. The reason why most youths in Uganda normally cause chaos today is because they are not sensitized on why sports are vital. So, with all that, some don't even have self-confidence and lack emotional intelligence. If they lack emotional intelligence during those sports, they will end up fighting. They will end up fighting and causing chaos in the environment. So right now, I would like to tell you why these sports are vital. These sports will promote confidence and intelligence on individuals who are less vibrant in the nations. So, if they are less vibrant, they are likely to cause violence and also antisocial youth. Even youth with high esteem will tend to lead to respect others and handle confidence peacefully, and it will build peer-to-peer relationships, e.g. community programs, for example, football programs, like the Kids League. This improves and promotes confidence among us in the different schools. We have football programs in schools, so this will help us to promote confidence among the youths. Not allowed. So I'd like to continue. As I was saying, my second point was youth delinquency and crimes. The idle youths in Uganda today are the ones involved in the crime rates. They are the ones involved in drugs. They are the ones causing chaos all over because they are idle. But if youths are involved in these sports, there will be no one that is left there to do such things. So these sports are very, very important. They are very important in our nation today. These sports promote social cohesion in a way that when fewer youths are involved in crime, it means more peaceful community. If I am in a debate position, I won't be able to go out there and take drugs. Not allowed. I won't be able to take drugs because I will be on my mind. I want to focus because I want to win in the sports. If I'm in a sports club, I would want to win in everything that I have. So right now, there is nothing that we can do to take our sports. We just need more investment in sports so that we can be able to build Uganda and remove idleness and crimes in our nations today. And I also want to add on. It means more peaceful community. The negative energy in our world today due to the youths is eradicated into positive, creative, or physical achievement, positive morals. If I was, for example, a drug addict, and I found a sport like debating, I will not be able to go out there, start taking, because I will not be reasoning in my own mind. I will leave those things, focus on my studies, not allowed. If we had investment in these things, we can do more. And I would like to inform you that if we invest in our things, no youth will be left out there to commit crimes in Uganda. No youth will be left out. And that is why we need more funding in these programs so that the sports acts will be able to reach every school, every district, and also rural areas so they can be able to get out of those places. Because we who are this way, we are put before these things, display these things so that we can express ourselves. But if the rural areas there, they will not know the things. So what they will do is want to be around them. So if we had invested in this, we would avoid signs due to the presidential elections, for example, the presidential elections in 2020-2021, where youth were arrested. So it's better we put our emphasis on investing in these youth programs so that we empower young people, remove fear from them, and also build confidence for a better tomorrow. Thank you, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Baluka, Precious Glory from the University, our second affirmer. I would like to call our next participant from the negator's side, who is none other than Katsime Sumaya Yowomi.
The judges, the audience, the negators and the farmers. My name is Katsime Sumaya from Nakaloke Islamic Secondary School, and I happen to be the second negator. Panel, allow me to start from where the pre-current speaker ended. She said that if we invest more money in the youth sports and arts program, this will reduce idleness among the youth. Panel, I would like to inform you that if we increase money in the youth and arts program, this will not reduce idleness, but rather we should invest in other sectors like education, whereby when we go to school, we are going, that's why we go to school, but that's why we go to school, to reduce what? Idleness. But again, we do not reduce idleness from the sports and arts programs, but we reduce idleness from education. Panel, allow me to start my points. Overemphasis on extracurricular activities. When we invest more money in the youth sports and arts program, this will lead to overemphasis on the extracurricular activities, whereby the youth are going to put their minds, they are going to put more emphasis on the extra activities, where they are not going to pay much attention on other sectors like education. Panel, I'd like to tell you a scenario whereby I have my friends that are studying not allowed. They are studying from Uganda, Victoria High. They are footballers. Panel, I'd would like to inform you that they're footballers, but I had a conversation with them. They told me that they have ever attended one lesson, yet they're supposed to be now in senior 3. But because of the more emphasis on co-curricular activities, they're always practicing football and arts programs whereby they're leaving the education sector. Education is not being prioritized. Furthermore, improper balancing of the national budget. The national budget says that it's not going to be balanced when the increase on the youth sports and arts programs be left out, like education, health sectors, they are going to be left out whereby the national budget is not going to be balanced. Take for instance, if they increase on the youth sports and arts program, it's not allowed. The national budget is not going to be balanced, whereby we are going to have improper service deliveries in hospitals, schools, whereby there are going to be poor service delivery, not allowed. Final, allow me to continue by saying that improper use of the community recreational halls. Final, we see that when we invest more money in the youth sports and art programs, there will be improper use of the recreational areas, recreational halls, like in our societies, where when these artists, when they come in, our societies allow.
If we don't invest in sports and arts, if we don't invest in sports and arts, how exactly do you propose we unite?
Okay, sit down, I'll tell you. But do you know that when did you know that even in education sector, in other sectors, we can also unite? Not that only in sports we are going to be united, even in other sectors we can unite. Panel, allow me to continue by saying that improper use of the recreational community halls, whereby when we invest more money in the youth sports and arts programs, there is going to be improper use, whereby when these musicians come, then first of all, they're dressing cool, the way they dress up, it's not good to the society, whereby that's going to lead to moral decay, whereby the children, the youth who are in the society, they're going to have those moral behaviors, they're going to be with that thing in there. Yes, Shiba came here, but the way she was dressing up, many people came, they're going to have that thing, they're going to have immoral behaviors whereby they're not allowed in the society.
Point of information.
Panel, allow me to continue by to have sustainability concerns, whereby panel, we see that when we have a sustainability concern, whereby when we increase money in the youth sports programs, we are going to have sustainability concerns, whereby when take for instance, when the investor who has been investing money, maybe in FIFA or in any other programs dies, that means that organization of football or the youth sports is going to collapse. But rather, when we invest that money in other sectors like education, it is going to continue. Take an example is our school, Nakaloke Islamic Secondary School. That school, it's for allowed.
Thank you. If you are saying that sports and arts cannot promote social cohesion, can you give us what promotes social cohesion? How you plan to implement?
Okay, sit down. I'll tell you. Panel, allow me to continue. We have, I said, sustainability concept. Well, an example is our school, Nakaloke Islamic. The investor was the late Sheikh Wafula. He died, but he died in 2015. He had that knowledge and he invested money in education. That's why you see our school is still existing. It has stayed for 31 years since it was built in 1994. It was built in 1994, but the school is still existing, meaning that is a sustainability concept whereby if he had invested the money in other sectors like sport, it could have collapsed. Whereby this school it has gone with many generations, but even our teacher who is here, he started from our school. That means that is a sustainability concept. If he had invested money in other sectors like youth, the organization could have collapsed. Overemphasis on competition. Panel, we realize that overemphasis on competition, if youth intend to put more emphasis on competition, whereby by me putting more emphasis, by the youth putting more emphasis on competition, it can lead to stress, it hence leading to some diseases like pressure. education. They could have developed the education sector of Uganda. Rather, we have financial burdens like building facilities, where even still up now, they're still constructing that building. Even some players still in financial burdens. The organization may put money in a certain organization, but the equipment used like shoes, gadgets may not be affordable by the youth. I would like to rest my case.
Thank you so much. Honorable Katsumi Sumaya from Nakaloke Islamic, our second negator. I'd like to go to our third affirmer, who is Nawab bint Muhammad.
Madam Speaker, the table of the jury, the two opposition sides, good afternoon. My name is Nawal bint Muhammad. I am from the team of the Affirmative, and I am the third speaker. My role is to summarize the debate, highlight key clashes, expose the weakness in the opposition, and defend and compare both sides, and even show why the Affirmative wins. Ladies and gentlemen, today we see two competing visions, one that invests in peace through youth development, and one that lays action in fear of obstacles. I would like to give the major clashes of this debate. Clash number one, is this investment necessary or optional? The opposition says it is not priority. Youths need jobs and academics first, which is not true. We argued that the sports and we argued that social cohesion. We argued that without social cohesion, there is no society that can thrive. Sports and arts prevent violence, build confidence, and even reduce on crimes. Why do we win? We win because we have proved that these programs won't replace academics. Instead, they support discipline, purpose, and unity. My clash 2 says, denied. Can Uganda afford this? The opposition side said it is too expensive and unrealistic, which is a lie. We have showed model working. We have showed model working companies like MTN, Foundation. We have seen the Pupa Youth League. We have seen music festivals and even the NGO-led acts in refugee camps. Why do we win? We win because we have already seen that these programs exist. They are already happening and scaling. It is practical, not impossible.
Point of information.
Denied. We even propose public and private partnership. My clash number 3 says, do sports and arts really build social cohesion? I think this is a yes. We strongly argue that these sports reduce crimes, bring different denied. Bring different youth, not now like you. I'm quite sure that you're from not the same area. I think just the debate has placed you together. Because you can't tell me that all of you, it's denied. You can't tell me that all of you come from the same area. The debate has brought you here, and debate is part of arts. So you have to change and come on the affirmative side. Why do we win? We win because we have proved that sports. We win because we have proved that sports and arts are not luxuries, but they are powerful weapons for peace building. The opposition offered fear of cost, fear of obstruction, but they have not answered, and they have not shown our allowed.
Thank you. Miss Honorable, I would like to inform you or request you, please, why do you think they only picked only 3 of you out of the whole school if this promotes social cohesion and empowerment?
Thank you for the question. But let me tell you this. Since a debate is also part of arts, now all of us here we are united and we come from different places. The debate has united us and the debate is part of arts. Thank you. Good night. The opposition offered fear of cost, fear of obstruction, but they have not yet shown alternatives to the youth violence, unemployment, and tribal division. They have not showed us. And I think these sports and arts, they bring people together. And let me go back to what you said, that it does not favor the information. It's denied that it does not favor the blind, but the blind can sing. Singing is also part of arts, not just playing, kicking football, playing rugby. That's the only arts or sports.
Point of information.
It's denied. Ladies and gentlemen, at this critical point, I would like to ask, who offers the better future? Is it what they are saying, or the youth who also invest or give taxes but indirectly to Uganda? It's denied. The opposition pointed to problems, right? High cost, inequality, exclusion, among others. But all these are problems to underinvestment. And more funding is what can fix these issues. By expanding access, improving quality, and making sure that there is no young person is left out, is how you can pass through this. We have shown that investment in these programs builds bridges among the high classes, now like the rich, and the low classes, which are the poor, in villages and towns, across tribes and communities. So it brings togetherness. This is what unites us. Now, like for example, the Premier League. Don't you think that those people are united because they come from different countries? Those people come from different countries, but they come together. They unite. They promote peace because they don't fight.
Point of information.
It's denied. If we truly care about unity and giving every youth a fair chance, we should not fail to invest because they also deserve a chance. They deserve a chance to reveal their talent. They have a chance to also use their tax, which they pay indirectly. In my conclusion, I would like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that a country with the world's youngest population, we should invest in them and not leave the talent in shadows and division in the streets, because they also deserve a chance. Please, please. Now, like these opponents, they are also united, not knowing that they are also part of the arts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nawal Muhammad. I would like to call upon our very last participant, who is Mbale Latifa. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow debaters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon to the audience at large. The debate stated that investment in the youth and arts programs should significantly be increased as a tool for social cohesion and empowerment. As we the negators will say that the person who wrote the motion or who proposed the motion mistook it or misunderstood or left out a word which is not. The motion was supposed to be stated that investment in the youth sports and arts programs should not be increased. social cohesion and empowerment. Reason being, my first point that I would like to offer, since this is where my second negator ended, I would like to first submit my evidence to the table of the judges. This is whereby even the national budget that was released on Monday, the final budget of Uganda, 2025-2026, it states that it released the total budget to 72.7376 trillion in total, as it was divided 29.527 trillion for development. But later, afterwards, it was published that 4.2 trillion and 2.2 trillion respectively in this year's budget have gone more slowly. I would like to submit this by explaining my point. If the year's budget is growing slowly, since they have introduced that they should invest in more money in the youth sports and arts program, yet it's growing slowly in the development. Not only that, on the side of infrastructures, it is even stated there, infrastructures in Uganda, they are developing slowly, reason being the money that are supposed to be invested in the other sectors that are beneficial, that will help the youth in other sectors like agriculture, is being invested in the sports and arts program. I would like to inform you, Mr. Honorable, they will only give us 2 points of information. My second speaker granted you everything. For that case, allow me to continue. This is whereby, if they invest in more money in the youth sports and arts programs, it will have an effect on agriculture, education, health care, economic development. Whereby economic development is the major aim that we are looking at. To get in more details, my speaker said financial burden. Investing in sports and arts program is really a financial burden. How? Facility maintenance. For example, the Mbale Stadium in Uganda.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Time and again, there are football matches in that field, whereby at the end of the
Point of information,
of the sport, there is destruction of other properties. Not only that, the youth in Uganda intend to take strikes. For example, by the time, sometimes after when they have declared the winner of the sport, the losers intend to cause strikes. I would like to refer to the example, the match that was played between Amus College and St. Mary's. That strike, it was performed at Amus College, whereby students, after Amus College winning 1-0, the strike started there, and then since they didn't allow them to come into the field and celebrate with their fellows, these people decided to take up a strike. Yet the second affirmative said that if they invest in more money in sports and arts programs, there will be reduction in strikes and raids, which is not true. We have seen many sports programs that have destroyed our properties. Some of our fellow students have been injured severely. Bombs have been thrown towards them just because of sports and arts programs.
Point of information.
Not granted. I would like to go for furthermore information, informing the affirmatives that if we invest in more money in the sports and youth programs, there will be improper balance of the national budget. Since the budget has already budgeted and the budget is already out, and you are telling us that we should invest in more money in sports and arts programs, when? Yet the budget is already out. That is a sign of improper balance of the national budget, whereby it will be a financial burden to the country. This is not only being that.
Point of information.
This issue of investing money in the youth sports and arts programs has really created a cultural alignment. For example, we take up the cultural recreation hall in Nakaloke. That was nicknamed as Matakoju. Moreover, that name, if we come in joined by the youth. The new name that was given to that recreation hall is less vigorous. But what in real sense, you know Uganda, you can understand what that word means. We are not here to just aim at investing more money in sports and arts programs, but more for we should be better for other people. Whereby sports and youth programs are inclusive. They promote inclusivity, whereby we accept it's true. You people use basketball saying, how many participants are allowed to participate on the set of affirmatives? We only see that after a long period of 50 players practicing daily, day and night, 24/7, they only pick 24 in the whole country to can represent us outside. But how is it going to represent? You are saying it will promote social cohesion. Yes, they will participate, but still, those ones left out will not benefit from it because they also want to earn. They also want to feel. But since they are left out, it will be exclusive. It will not promote accessibility and inclusivity. This is what she said. The brains can also sing. If a brain can sing yet he cannot hear, how can you prove it to me? A brain person, the eyes are connected to the ears. If you study biology, the eyes are connected to the ears. Whereby if the eyes have an effect, the ears also have an effect. I would like to confirm that this motion should be rewritten that investment in sports and arts programs should be significantly not increased in the use for social cohesion and empowerment. Allow me rest my case.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dibo Leza Latifa from Nakaloke, the negative side. We shall not waste a lot of time because
the schools for sponsoring the students and allowing them chop classes to come and discuss. I want to just tell you to take a very deep breath. But calm down. So now, this is my observation. The topic was investing in the youth sports and arts programs should be significantly increased as a tool for social cohesion. The challenge I had with my two schools, for example, in Conversely, you were meant to tell us the kind of sports you were talking about, so that we should know. If I tell you that the blind don't sing, I should be knowing that actually your mind is having some bit of singing. Nonetheless, for me, I saw a lot of bias in everything you were doing. The definition, it was good. The statistics, good, although you did not tell us the sources, Mr. Ibrahim. Then to putting the focus on the government of Uganda, forgetting the private entity. And then when you said, you know, I have a problem, and I know this is the real problem with sports and arts. I'm not going to go into broadening the topic beyond what you did. But what about hooliganism? How are we going to fight hooliganism? And then and segregation in sports. Then for exclusion of other members, I thought that a good example would be Paralympics. The Olympic Games for those people with disabilities. Then to Madame Baruka, thank you. But then you kept on telling us emotional intelligence, even Ibrahim. Maybe you did not brief us what is emotional intelligence. And then how is sports contributing to the growth of emotional intelligence? For example, for me, I'm from political science. I would not be knowing things of psychology. Then, to Madam Nawal, very good speech. But sometimes we have to slow down and let people process what we are saying. It gives you after a good time to first calm down and you give the point. Because sometimes as we are trying to beat the 8 minutes, we can marathon through, and actually this is now supprinting. You can sprint through and start picking points from different paragraphs, and you end up mixing everything and you can't be understood. Then to my good friends of Nakaloke, I want to be so very fast. Actually, this one also, it is a yellow comment for every person who was speaking. Wrong choice of the words in the topic. For example, this has been still from last week. If the topic is investment in youth sports and arts programs, do we really have to define what is an investment? Do we really have to define what is significant? Is it important? Is it a concept? Or in English we have verbs and then we have auxiliary verbs, those helping verbs. If it is to go, can we make a constructive sentence without adding another auxiliary verb? Is or Ibrahim is going. So if Ibrahim is going is the topic, are we going to define what is? So we spent out of time dissecting the topic into different conceptual kingdom. So I thought that maybe if we give more time on just explaining what is youth, what are youth sports and arts, we give examples, and then we go on and discuss what is social cohesion. Don't give us what is a tool. You can't give a definition of a garden tool to a tool as just an auxiliary word in this statement. So for all these two things, we have to be so careful when we are choosing out which words we are going to define, or else you end up confusing yourselves. Then to cultural misalignment, I thought that for my people from Nakaloke Islamic, we had a lot of bias about sports, arts, Shiba putting on wrongly. What about Kasumba? No, Kasumba, the one who is doing the Muslim songs. What about the Matari? How are they putting on? Is it bad for people to have their kaswida and then maybe? What about the Taribu from Tanzania? So for me, I thought that there was a lot of bias in regard to the good things about the sports. For me, I'll be discouraging people to just come and rubbish everything from the other side. You at least accept and then you give us your alternatives, because the aim is to build a transformative Uganda. If you're not investing in sports and arts, you give us, okay, it is good, but then this is a better way. And then for Madam Sumaya, please slow down when you are speaking. It makes a lot of good sense when we marathon, but in a calm way. Because the more we speak fast, we a little bit not shouting, but we elevate the tones. So when we slow down, we become more honorable and we make our points more clear. I do not like the example you gave about Victoria High School, because that was a factual mismatch. Victoria High School has not been participating in sports football for the last 2 years. Last year they did not participate. So you should ask your friends if really they are playing football at Victoria. They should not. Maybe they are not just attending classes. Madam Ratfa, still the same problem. Slowing down when we are speaking. And then lastly, when you said economic development, investment in sports and arts, slowing down the economic development, don't you think that if we invest in sports, actually we are improving on our economic development? Remember, next year we are going to be holding, I think next year or 2 years later, we are going to be hosting the African Cup of Nations, and we are going to be getting jobs. So don't you think it's a very good idea? That is for you to think, and then you give us an alternative. So for those remarks, thank you, and I wish every person a very good time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwanja. I'd like to call upon our next judge, who is Mr. Wadada Amos Akram. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, moderator, for the opportunity. Investment in the youth sports and arts program should be significantly increased as a tool for social cohesion. You would like to know why I read this motion. I'm reading the motion because today, investment in the youth, like there are two parts in this kind of motion you get. There is a policy and there is value. So it brings us to how, which side are you attacking the motion from? And it felt like you guys were actually sidelining on one issue and leaving out the other. But that is food for you to, food for thought. You should, whenever you come into a particular debate, just look at which type of motion and then how you're going to align your points. I'll just give general comments and not give personal evaluations due to time. First thing is, we all need to learn to exhaust our points when you are presenting. You're giving points and you're leaving them on the way. You need to make sure you're making someone, remember this is a debate, you're educating, you're actually trying to inform, you're creating awareness outside there. So how are you creating it when you're not making enough research to come here and exhaust the particular point that you're starting? If you're saying it is causing immorality, how is it causing immorality? This is how it is causing, and how will it affect the community in the long run or in the short run? All of those things have to be exhausted. If you're saying it's going to promote this, exhaust the promotion part in the community, the environment, like everything. You have to exhaust it. In the long run, short run, exhaust your points. Then secondly, another thing I'll look at is speakership roles. I think we are trying from last week, speakership roles has been an issue. I loved one of the third speakers came here and elaborated us what she's going to do and all of that. But you end up, you first outlined, you have put them in your head and this is what the third speaker should do. But are you actually doing it is another thing that you need to put into action. You have outlined what you should do, then how are you doing it? Oh, because you outlined what you're supposed to do, but at the end of the submission, I did see what you outlined. So that is it. Then, motion interpretation. You guys need to learn to break down the motion because it will help you debate better. Just break down the motion very well. From the first judge's submission, you guys, it seems the debaters did actually break down the motion very well. Or you might, like there are some important things in the motion, then there are also those ones that are more important, and they are all important words in the motion, but they are the most important ones. So as a debater, when you're going to a particular motion, understand which one is more important to debate better and generate points which are going to help you win a particular debate. Then another thing is strategy. I've not seen a team, or I've not seen strategy from both of your sides. I don't think you strategized on how you're going to, maybe now after making your research, then what strategy you're going to use when you're coming here to present. Because the first, like you need to have that kind of strategy. I think that was lacking. Then, I don't want to repeat that presentation part. where you feel like you have to rush, and you find yourself rapping the words. I think it would be very much better if you learn how to, like if we adopted this thing of creating a counterfactual, because you're debating, but then you're creating, of course, in a debate, like if it's a policy, something has not happened, but you're going to create for us that kind of what if situation, that counterfactual. So it would be very better for you to prepare yourself very well, such that when you come here, you utilize your time. Know that I'm working within 8 minutes. This is how you strategize, you align your work very well, and you're going to present wonderfully without you having that panic and rushing with words, and you end up messing it up. And for that, I would like to submit my remarks, and good luck to both the schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wadada, for your views, for your remarks. I would like to call upon our very last judge to take the floor. You're welcome, Mr. November.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, dear presenters, those on the affirmative and those on the negating side. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you from that session. It was a wonderful one. I don't want to repeat a lot of what has been said, but I'll try to make general remarks also in the interest of time. I think we've talked about reading verbatim, and colleagues were into that. I think it was not a good show. So we said we'll try as much as possible to desist from reading before the audience, because it gives them a feeling that you've surely and actually mastered. If you look at just we call them talking points. And then two, the use of jargons, issues, and someone was mentioning the issues and the sogis, and I think those are more like jargons. So let us say the words as they are supposed to be, imagining that amongst us is maybe an international colleague, or amongst the listenership is an international colleague who is following but will not actually have knowledge on what you're talking about. And then also members overemphasized on the issue of tribe as an element in here under social cohesion. But when we talk about social cohesion, it is a matter of us in our identities versus the unity that we anticipate given our differences. Our tribe is just one of those identities amongst others. So first I'm a Uganda, then I'm a Muslim. So all those are identities. So if to talk of social cohesion, it can even go to economic, it can even go to political as part of the identities versus social cohesion. So I also noted that overemphasizing on the tribe was not a very good show. Bokoma, I think misallocation of resources. Members, the other side, were supposed to look to ask themselves whether sports is also a sector like many other sectors, because you kept on emphasizing that it will lead to misallocation of resources, yet we have other sectors where we can actually put that kind of money. Then sports minus profits. Again, the question is, can't we derive, or are we not deriving funds from sports? That is to take the point right. But yet the other thing that was missing was that the overemphasis on the need to invest in sports, but with less emphasis on the issue of social cohesion. That was also a missing link for the members. Also, a member mentioned artists, which was interesting, categorizing them as fading and shining. And then I was like, members outside there, what if the one you think is shining is actually a fading artist to the other members outside there? So better if you had said, for example, like monitor of 17 is reported that so and so as a fading artist, then someone will know that this is not you now judging between the artists and using them as examples here to take the point home. Katusime, you talked about now that the budget has been read, and then the other members were supposed to ask, isn't budgeting a process arising out of planning from all the different levels? So even when budgets are read, don't we have supplementary budgets where we can still get money that we can put into the sector? So what I'm trying to show you is each and every point this side raises can actually become a basis for the other side to pick out the weakness in that point. And that is why we also the members here had a problem with the member who refused the point of information. Because we agreed time and again that sometimes this is an opportunity, at some point it's an opportunity for you to actually re-emphasize and re-echo and probably also reiterate on the point that the other members are supposed to are raising or will be raising at that particular point. So allowing POI is actually a good courtesy. As I wind up, someone said it is a financial burden because we have strikes, and then the other members were supposed to look at it differently. What if the investment in sports we are talking about will actually cater for things like sensitization, things like, okay, let us employ police officers whenever we have matches, and the rest. But that is not to say that if you leave it at that, it is a correct point. Because the listeners will actually be looking at where is the youth and the social cohesion element in what you are saying. That said, I think let me leave it at that in the interest of time. And let me go to the assessment, the scores. At the start, we showed the members a form which we have kept on re-emphasizing, and we say it helps us to assess out of 10 elements and each of the members. So each of you, like we noted, is assessed out of 100 by each of the judges, which gives us a total of 300 from the table for each member, and a total of 900 from the members to each judge. The side of Nakaloke, we have Judge 1 64 plus 73 plus 67, and this gives a total of 204. Judge 2 has OHAD 69 plus 79 plus 72, totaling to 220. And Judge 3 had 65 plus 73 plus 73, totaling to 211. When you add 204 plus 220 plus 211, you get a total of 635. That is 635 out of 900. When we turn to University Link, Judge 1 had 70 plus 78 plus 79, giving a total of 227. Then Judge 2 had 77 plus 73 plus 56, totaling to 208. And Judge 3 had 70 plus 60 plus 63, totaling to 193. When you add 227 plus 208 plus 193, you get a total of 628. So Nakaloke had 635 and University Link had 628. Nakaloke emerges as Nakaloke Islamic emerges as the victor. Thank you for participating, and those listening in, thank you for listening in this far. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.